Darling, listen to me closely, because if you clicked on this video thinking here we go again with another video promising money like it is raining from the sky, I truly adore your skepticism. It means you have been disappointed before, and that is a valid feeling. It means you have tried affirmations and prayers and vision boards, and maybe you even whispered sweet nothings to your wallet and nothing happened. You looked for a sign and received silence. I see you, and I honor that struggle. But I need you to put down your defenses, just for a moment, because what we are about to discuss is not magic and it is not luck. It is law. And the law does not care if you believe in it or not, just as the law of gravity does not care if you agree with it. It simply works. You are not broken and you are not cursed. You are not doing it wrong because you did not believe hard enough or because you did not chant at exactly sunrise while facing east. Relax, sweetheart, because the universe is not a complicated accountant looking for excuses to deny you. The divine design of your life is perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect self-expression. The fact that you are facing lack right now does not mean the system is broken. It means there is a blockage in the channel, and that blockage is almost always in the mind. It is not scary because money will magically fall on your head after listening to this once. It is scary because when you finally understand how this works, you will realize how much time you wasted fighting life instead of letting it work for you. That is the shocking part. That is the moment you realize the door was unlocked the entire time you were banging on it. We must address the greatest lie you have ever been told, which is the belief that life is a battle. From the time you were children, you were taught that you must fight for what you want, that you must struggle to survive, and that money is the result of blood, sweat, and tears. This belief is the root of your poverty. Florence Scovel Shinn taught us that life is not a battle but a game. It is a game of giving and receiving. But you cannot play the game successfully if you do not know the rules. Most of you are playing the game of life with the rules of a battlefield. You are armed with anxiety and shielded with worry, fighting an enemy that does not exist. There is no competition in the spiritual realm. What is yours by divine right cannot be taken by another and cannot be withheld by any circumstance. When you realize this, the heavy burden of competition falls off your shoulders. You stop looking at your neighbor's success with envy because you know that the infinite storehouse is not limited. There is enough for everyone, just as there is enough air for everyone to breathe. You do not panic when your neighbor takes a deep breath thinking there will be none left for you. Money is exactly the same. It is a fluid substance, and there is no shortage of it in the universe. Only a shortage of channels willing to receive it. Money is not running away from you. It is responding to you. Right now, whether you like it or not, you are broadcasting a signal. You are always praying. Even when you are complaining, you are praying. Even when you are joking about being broke, you are praying. Even when you say, I am just being realistic, you are praying. Sweetheart, realism has kept more people poor than imagination ever did. Let me say this gently with love and a little humor. If worry paid the bills, you would be a billionaire by now. If stress attracted abundance, you would own half the planet. But here you are tired and scrolling and hoping for a rescue. This is your rescue, but it requires you to wake up. You have been sleeping in a nightmare of your own creation. The nightmare is the belief that you are separate from your supply. You act as though God is a distant entity that you must beg for provisions. But the kingdom of heaven is within you. That means the power to produce wealth is not in the job market or the economy or the government. It is in your own consciousness. I know the struggle, and I know what it feels like to check your bank balance like it might scream at you. I know the quiet panic that comes when a bill pops up and you say, I will figure it out, but inside you are thinking, how will I possibly do that? I know the embarrassment of wanting more while pretending you do not care. Honey, wanting more is not greed. It is obedience. You were designed to expand. The desire in your heart for a better life is not a temptation to be suppressed. It is the divine spirit within you, seeking to express itself more fully. God is the giver and the gift, and He loves a cheerful receiver. When you refuse to prosper, you are actually insulting the giver. You are saying that the infinite intelligence that created the stars and the oceans is incapable of paying your rent. Think of how ridiculous that sounds. The power that spins the planets can certainly handle your credit card debt, but you must get out of the way. Here is the core challenge, sweetheart, and I am going to say it plainly, so it lands in your soul. You have been asking for money while secretly expecting struggle. You have been praying with your lips and canceling it with your imagination. You say, "God bless me," then immediately picture how impossible it is. That is not prayer. That is mixed signals. Life responds to clarity. Imagine you are ordering a meal at a restaurant. You ask the waiter for a steak, but as he walks away, you shout, "Actually, I do not think I deserve the steak. Just bring me water." Then 10 minutes later, you wonder why you are hungry. This is what you do with the universe every single day. You ask for a big life, but you prepare for a small one. You ask for financial freedom, but you hoard every penny out of fear. You cannot fool the law. The law does not listen to your words as much as it listens to your vibration. If your vibration is fear, you will attract things to be afraid of. If your vibration is lack, you will attract more bills and more expenses. The universe moves on law, not pity. It doesn't say yes because you are tired. It says yes because you are aligned. And alignment, darling, is not effort. It is agreement. Agreement doesn't mean forcing yourself to feel rich when your fridge is empty. It means choosing a new inner conversation, even while the old circumstances are still unpacking their bags. Circumstances are late. Your inner word is early always. You must understand that your current reality is nothing more than the physical manifestation of your past thoughts. The room you are sitting in, the clothes you are wearing, and the money in your bank account are all crystallized thoughts from yesterday or last year. If you do not like them, stop staring at them. When you obsess over your lack of money, you are pouring fresh cement over your stuck situation. You are solidifying the very thing you want to change. To wake up means to withdraw your attention from the appearance of lack and place it firmly on the reality of abundance. This is the awakening. It is the realization that the external world is a shadow of the internal world. You have been trying to change the shadow without moving the object. You've been trying to change your finances by working harder and taking more shifts and cutting more coupons. While prudent action is good, action born of fear is useless. You cannot outwork a poverty consciousness. You can work 20 hours a day, but if your subconscious mind believes you are poor, you will find a way to lose every cent you earn. Unexpected expenses will arise. Accidents will happen. The car will break down. The washing machine will flood. Why? Because your subconscious mind is a faithful servant. If you tell it you are struggling, it will move heaven and earth to ensure you keep struggling. It will create crises to match your vibration of crisis. Do you see now why you have been stuck? It is not the economy. It is your own faithful servant obeying your command of lack. But the moment you change the command, the servant changes the action. This is why we call it an awakening. It is like waking up from a bad dream. In the dream, a monster was chasing you, and you were terrified. You ran, and you sweated, and you cried. But when you wake up, you realize there was no monster. It was all in your mind. The lack of money is the monster in your dream. Wake up. The substance of the universe is inexhaustible. There is gold in the dust and wealth in the air. Opportunities are everywhere, but you have been blind to them because you were looking for obstacles. When you shift your focus from what is missing to what is possible, the veil lifts. You start to see channels where you once saw walls. You meet people who can help you. You get ideas that are worth millions. This is not magic. This is your mind tuning into a different frequency. You are moving from the frequency of struggle to the frequency of grace. The scary part is realizing how powerful you actually are. You have been the author of your own misfortune. But the beautiful part is that you are now the author of your own liberation. You hold the pen. The past does not matter. The mistakes you made with money do not matter. The bankruptcy does not matter. The debt does not matter. In the eyes of the Spirit, every moment is a new beginning. You can wipe the slate clean right now by simply refusing to agree with the lie of poverty. Stand tall in your spirit. Stop acting like a beggar at the gates of life. You are the owner of the gate. You have the key in your pocket, and that key is your thought. This awakening is not just about getting money. It is about reclaiming your dignity. It is about standing up and saying, I am a child of the infinite, and I refuse to live in fear any longer. As we move forward in this video, we are going to learn how to speak the language of abundance. We are going to learn how to use the 3 gates of gold. But none of that will work if you do not first accept this fundamental truth. You are entitled to be rich. You are entitled to be happy. You are entitled to be free. Drop the guilt. Drop the shame of your past financial mistakes. They are gone. They are dead leaves that have fallen from the tree. Do not pick them up and put them in your pocket. Look at the fresh buds on the branch. Look at the new growth. That is where we are going. So take a deep breath and let the old story of the struggling victim die right here and right now. It does not serve you, and it bores the universe. You are ready for a new role in a new drama. One of success. One of ease. One of plenty. Welcome to your awakening. Now that you have awakened to the truth that the kingdom of abundance is within you, we must learn how to govern this kingdom. You cannot rule a kingdom with silence, and you certainly cannot rule it with complaints. You rule it with your decree. We move now to the most critical instrument of your destiny, which is your tongue. It has been said that death and life are in the power of the tongue, and this is not a poetic metaphor. It is a scientific and spiritual fact. Your word is your wand. It is the tool with which you carve your future out of the invisible substance of the universe. Most people are using this wand destructively. They are waving it around, carelessly smashing their own opportunities and tearing down their own health without even realizing the damage they are doing. They wake up and declare they are tired. They look at the mail and declare they are broke. They look at the news and declare the world is falling apart. And then they wonder why their lives are a series of misfortunes. You must understand that your word is a vibration. It is a command sent out into the ether, and the universe has no choice but to organize itself around that command. When you speak, you are not just describing your situation, you are prescribing your future. We must address the great trap that intellectual people fall into, which is the trap of realism. You say to me, but Florence, I am just being realistic. I look at my bank account and it is empty, so I say it is empty. I am just telling the truth. Darling, you are not telling the truth, you are stating a fact. And there is a world of difference between a fact and the truth. A fact is a temporary condition. It is true that your account is empty right now, but the truth with a capital T is that you are an heir to the divine storehouse and that your supply is infinite. When you state the unpleasant fact, you anchor it. You give it weight, you sign a contract with it to remain in your life. Realism is the enemy of miracles. Realism says, look at the wall. Faith says, look at the door. If you want to change your life, you must stop reporting on the disaster and start reporting on the solution before it arrives. This is the discipline of the master. Anyone can complain when things are going wrong. It takes a master to speak of prosperity when the creditors are calling. This is not delusion. This is the highest form of sanity, because you are aligning yourself with the spiritual law that overrides the physical circumstance. Let us speak of the dangerous habit of humor that many of you use as a shield. I adore a good laugh, but I must warn you against the self-deprecating jokes you make about money. You say things like, I am so broke, I cannot even pay attention, or money hates me, or I am allergic to wealth. You think you are being funny and charmingly humble. But the subconscious mind has no sense of humor. It is a faithful servant that takes every word you say literally. When you joke about being broke, the subconscious mind does not hear the laughter. It hears a command. It says, very well, the master wishes to be broke, so I will ensure that every opportunity for wealth is deflected. I will ensure that an unexpected bill arrives to drain any savings. You are cursing yourself with a smile on your face. Stop it immediately. You must clean up your inner jokes. If you must joke, joke about how money follows you everywhere. Joke about how you are a magnet for success. At first, it will feel strange, but eventually your subconscious will accept this new pattern and begin to execute it. You cannot afford the luxury of a negative thought, and you certainly cannot afford the luxury of a negative word spoken in jest. This brings us to the law of agreement. The Bible asks, can two walk together unless they be agreed? You cannot walk with wealth if you are in agreement with poverty. Most of you are in a toxic relationship with your own finances because you are constantly agreeing with lack. You see a price tag and you recoil in fear. That recoil is an agreement with limitation. You hear a wealthy person talking and you feel a pang of jealousy. That jealousy is an agreement with the belief that there is not enough to go around. To change this, you must consciously enter into an agreement with abundance. This is a legal term in the spiritual court. You are signing a new contract. When a bill comes, do not agree with the fear. Look at the bill and say, I agree that this bill is paid. I agree that the supply to meet this obligation is already on its way. I agree that I am a good steward of money, and money loves to circulate through me. This shift in posture changes everything. You stop being a victim of the economy and start being a master of your own economy. Consider the parrot. A parrot can be taught to say, I am rich, I am wealthy, I am successful. But the parrot remains a bird in a cage. Why? Because the parrot does not understand what it is saying. It is just making noise. Many of you are manifesting like parrots. You repeat affirmations for 10 minutes in the morning because a video told you to, but for the other 16 hours of the day, you are speaking worry and doubt. You negate your morning prayer with your afternoon conversation. This is why you see no results. It is not the words alone that work, it is the conviction behind them. It is the agreement of the heart. You must mean what you say. You must speak with authority. When Jesus spoke to the storm, he did not beg it to stop. He commanded it. He said, Peace, be still. He spoke with the authority of one who knew the law. You must develop this same authority over your checkbook. You must speak to your debts and say dissolve. You must speak to your income and say increase. You must speak to your hidden talents and say emerge. The world is a marketplace of ideas and conversations, and you must be careful what you buy. When you listen to your friends complaining about the recession or the cost of living, do not join in that chorus. That is a funeral dirge for your prosperity. If you join that conversation, you are agreeing with it, and you will reap the consequences of it. Silence is better than agreement with evil. If you cannot speak something positive, then keep your mouth shut. Keep your vibration high. Protect your ears and protect your tongue. You are building a temple of wealth, and you cannot build it with rotten wood. Every word you speak is a brick. If you speak of lack, you are building a prison. If you speak of opportunity, you are building a palace. The choice is yours in every single moment of every single day. Let me give you a practical way to handle the time lag. Because there is always a time lag between the spoken word and the manifestation. This is where most people fail. They speak the word of faith, and then they look for immediate results. When they do not see the money instantly, they say, well, this does not work, and they give up. This is like planting a seed and then digging it up the next day to see if it has roots. You have killed the seed. You must have the patience of a gardener and the certainty of an architect. When an architect draws a blueprint for a house, the house does not appear instantly. But the architect does not doubt the house will be built. He knows that the blueprint is the governing document. Your words are your blueprint. Once you have spoken the word of plenty, you must walk in the confidence that the machinery of the universe has begun to turn. Do not check the oven every 5 minutes to see if the bread has risen. Trust the heat. Trust the process. Your only job during the waiting period is to keep your agreement. Do not waver. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. The power of the word is also a power of clearing. You must use your word to clear the track for your good to come in. Many of you have clogged your channels with words of resentment and words of regret. You talk about your past failures as if they are trophies. You polish them and show them to everyone. Oh, let me tell you about the time I lost everything. Darling, stop telling that story. You are boring the angels, and you are blocking your blessings. Use your word to forgive. Say, I forgive everyone, and everyone forgives me. The gates swing open for me now. Use your word to bless your past. Say, I bless the past, and I release it. It has no power over me. By clearing the old verbal debris, you make room for the new verbal creation. You cannot put new wine into old wineskins, and you cannot put a new fortune into an old conversation. So here is your instruction for this phase of your journey. Become a watchman at the gate of your lips. Let no word escape you that you do not want to see materialized in your life. If a negative thought comes to you, do not voice it. Starve it of your attention, and certainly starve it of your breath. Replace it instantly with a word of truth. If the thought comes that says you will never get out of debt, you speak out loud and say, my supply is endless and my freedom is immediate. You fight the negative thought with the positive word. This is the sword of the Spirit. You slash through the jungle of human fear with the machete of divine assertion. It requires vigilance. It requires discipline. But the reward is a life that looks like magic to the uninitiated. They will look at you and say you are so lucky. But you will smile and know it is not luck. It is the law. You kept the agreement. You spoke the word, and the word became flesh and dwelt among your finances. We are preparing now to move to the 3 gates of gold in the next section, where we will learn how to align our expectation and our permission with our words. But understand this foundation. Without the word, there is no beginning. In the beginning was the word. Start your beginning today. Change your conversation, and you change your world. Speak to your mountain, and it shall be removed. Speak to your empty vessels, and they shall be filled. This is the law, and the law never fails. We have established the power of your awakening, and we have armed you with the sword of the spoken word. But now we must navigate the geography of manifestation. Between where you stand now, in your current condition, and the land of milk and honey that is your divine heritage, there stand 3 gates. These are the 3 gates of gold. Most of you manage to stumble through the first gate, but then you stop. You wonder why the gold has not appeared. You wonder why the demonstration has not occurred. It is because you have not completed the journey. You cannot enter a house by standing on the front porch, and you cannot enter the kingdom of abundance by only passing the first gate. The supply you are seeking is a rushing river, but for it to reach you, it must flow through all 3 locks of the canal. If even one lock is closed, the water stops and you remain dry. To master the law of plenty, you must understand how to unlock the gate of speech, the gate of expectation, and the gate of allowance. The first gate is one we have touched upon, but must clarify with absolute precision, and that is the gate of speech. This is the gate of initiation. Nothing moves in the universe until a word is spoken to move it. But you must understand that this gate requires more than just noise. It requires directional intent. Many of you are standing at this gate screaming. You are shouting your affirmations with desperation. You are begging the gate to open. But the spiritual realm does not respond to volume. It responds to vibration. The password to this gate is not "please let me in." The password is "I am already there." When you speak the word for your prosperity, you must speak it not as a request but as a decree. You must realize that you are not creating the money. The money already exists in the invisible substance. You are simply releasing it. The gate of speech is where you announce your destination. If you get into a taxi and tell the driver you do not want to go to the airport, he still does not know where to take you. You must say, "Take me to the palace." You must be specific and you must be bold. But passing this gate is only the beginning. It is the easiest part of the journey, and yet it is where most people pitch their tents and sleep thinking the work is done. It is not done. Now, you face the second gate, which is the gate of expectation. This is the gate where the work truly begins and where the weak in faith fall away. This gate is the soil in which your word is planted. You have spoken the word of wealth, but what are you expecting? This is the great contradiction of your life. You pray for rain, but you leave your umbrella at home. You ask for a financial breakthrough, but you spend your day worrying about how you will survive the month. That is a violation of the law. Expectation is faith in action. It is the behavior of someone who knows the truth. Imagine you have ordered a package from a trusted company. You do not pace the floor, wondering if it will come. You do not call the company every 5 minutes. You simply look out the window occasionally, with a calm knowing that it is on the truck. That is the posture of true spiritual expectation. It is not manic hope. It is not desperate wishing. It is calm. It is relaxed. It is faith wearing pajamas. Let us look at your behavior to see if you are truly standing at the gate of expectation. If you believed that a large sum of money was coming to you tomorrow, how would you act today? You would be cheerful? You would be planning how to use it. You would be cleaning your house to prepare for the new goods you will buy. You would be organizing your wallet to hold the new bills. But look at you now. You are depressed. Your house is cluttered. Your wallet is full of old receipts and crumpled paper. You are preparing for poverty while asking for prosperity. You cannot fool the divine design. You must prepare the way. In the Bible, there is a story of the kings who needed water in the desert. The prophet told them to dig ditches. There was no rain in the sky, not a single cloud. But the command was to dig the ditches anyway. Why? Because you must prepare the capacity to receive before the rain comes. If the rain had fallen and there were no ditches, the water would have run off and been wasted. Your expectation is the ditch. You must dig it deep with your trust. You must act as if the answer is already here. This might mean laying out your best clothes for a meeting you have not yet scheduled. It might mean browsing for the house you want to buy, even though you do not have the deposit yet. It is the active preparation that signals to the infinite intelligence that you are serious. When you act the part, the universe hands you the script. Then we arrive at the third gate, and this is the most difficult gate of all. It is the gate of allowance, also known as the gate of receiving. This is where the battle is lost for so many of you. You have spoken the word. You have built up the expectation. The blessing arrives at your door, and you slam the door in its face. You do not do this consciously, of course. You do it because deep down you do not feel worthy. You have been conditioned to believe that poverty is spiritual and that wealth is sinful. You have been taught that struggle is noble. So when ease presents itself, you become suspicious. You dodge blessings like they are dangerous objects. You deflect compliments. If someone says you look beautiful, you say, "Oh, this old thing, it is nothing." You have just rejected the flow. If someone offers to pay for your lunch, you fight them for the bill. You call it politeness, but the spirit calls it resistance. You are telling the universe that you are not a receiver. And if you are not a receiver, the universe will stop sending. Allowance is the art of getting out of your own way. It is the art of non-resistance. You must give the universe permission to bless you. This sounds simple, but your ego loves the drama of the struggle. Your ego loves the story of how hard you work and how much you sacrifice. If things became easy, if money just flowed to you, your ego would lose its favorite story. You must be willing to give up the glory of the martyr for the glory of the wealthy. You must be willing to be boringly abundant. You must practice the art of receiving with grace. When someone gives you a gift, take it and say thank you. Do not say, you shouldn't have. Of course they should have. It is their divine role to give and your divine role to receive. When you find a coin on the street, pick it up and acknowledge it. It is a message from the abundance of the spheres. When you receive a discount or a refund, accept it as a divine wink. These are not accidents. They are test runs. The universe is testing your capacity to receive. If you cannot receive a cup of coffee with grace, how can you receive a fortune? The gate of allowance also requires you to release the tight grip of control. You want the money, but you want it to come in a specific way. You want it to come from your job, or from the lottery, or from a specific client. You are dictating the channels to the infinite. This is arrogance. The infinite intelligence has ways and means that you know not of. When you insist on how the money must come, you are closing the gate of allowance to all the other channels. You are blocking the unexpected check. You are blocking the gift. You are blocking the miracle. Allowance means trusting the wisdom of the giver. Your affirmation should be, I am open and receptive to all the good and abundance in the divine warehouse. I do not limit the channels. I do not limit the timing. I simply leave the gate open. There is also a subtle enemy at the gate of allowance, and that is guilt. Many of you feel guilty when you spend money on yourself. You buy a nice pair of shoes, and instead of enjoying them, you feel a knot in your stomach. You think of all the other things you should have done with that money. That knot in your stomach is a blockage. It sends a signal of pain attached to money. Pain repels wealth. You must learn to spend with joy. When you spend money, you are not losing it. You are circulating it. You are blessing the shopkeeper. You are blessing the manufacturer. You are blessing the economy. You must bless your money as it goes out so that it comes back to you multiplied. If you spend with a grudge, you receive with a grudge. If you spend with freedom, you receive with freedom. Open the gate of allowance by enjoying the flow. Use your best china dishes today. Wear your best perfume today. Do not save things for a special occasion. Being alive is the special occasion. By using what you have, you prove that you trust more is coming. Hoarding is an act of fear. Using is an act of faith. These three gates of gold must be traversed in order. You speak the word to initiate the law. You expect the result to prepare the vessel, and you allow the manifestation to enter without resistance. If you are stuck today, ask yourself which gate is closed. Have you stopped speaking the word? Have you stopped expecting the good? Or are you pushing away the very thing you asked for because you do not feel safe with it? Money goes where it is invited and stays where it is welcome. If you are anxious, you are not welcoming. If you are guilty, you are not welcoming. If you are frantic, you are not welcoming. You must become a gracious host to your own prosperity. Imagine your life as a great house. The gate of speech is the invitation you send out. The gate of expectation is setting the table and preparing the feast. The gate of allowance is unlocking the front door when the guest arrives. Do not leave your guest standing in the cold. Open the door wide. Swing it open on the hinges of faith. Say to the abundance of the universe, I am here. I am ready and I am worthy. There is no virtue in a closed door. There is no holiness in a locked gate. The divine design is for circulation and expansion. The game of life is a game of boomerangs, and the boomerang of wealth is trying to return to you. Catch it. Do not duck. Catch it with both hands and say thank you. This is the law of the three gates. Walk through them and enter the garden that has been prepared for you since the beginning of time. Darling, pause with me for a moment. If these three gates have opened a door in your mind today, do not let it close. You are here because your soul is ready for this expansion. If you wish to continue walking this path of high wisdom and receive daily reminders of your own power, Make a covenant with this channel right now. Press the subscribe button not just as a click, but as an act of agreement. Say to yourself, I am aligning with this truth. Join our community of awakened souls, and let us build your new life together. Now that the gates are open, we must learn how to walk through them with our feet. Let us move to the action of faith. We arrive now at the crucible of your transformation. We have spoken of the awakening where you realized your power. We have spoken of the word where you issued your decree. We have spoken of the 3 gates where you aligned your internal state. But now we must address the physical reality of your daily life. Faith without works is dead. This is not merely a religious sentiment. It is a law of physics and metaphysics. You cannot sit in a rocking chair and manifest a fortune. You cannot simply wish for a harvest without planting the corn. Many of you have become spiritual gluttons. You consume books and videos and seminars, but you do not move. You treat the law of supply as if it were a magic trick that requires no participation from you. But the universe is a partnership. The divine design provides the plan and the provision, but you must provide the vessel and the motion. You are the hands and feet of God on earth. If you refuse to move, the Spirit cannot direct you. A ship cannot be steered while it is tied to the dock. You must untie the ropes of your fear and push off into the deep waters of action. This brings us to the most practical and challenging aspect of the law of plenty, which is acting as if you already have it. This is not about pretending. It is about preparation. There is a vast difference between delusion and preparation. Delusion is spending money you do not have on things you do not need to impress people you do not like. Preparation is managing what you do have with the dignity and foresight of a millionaire. I told you earlier to ban the phrase, I cannot afford it, from your vocabulary. Let us go deeper into this because it is where most of you fail. When you say, I cannot afford it, you are putting a padlock on your pocket. You are telling your subconscious mind that your supply is limited and fixed. You are defining yourself by your lack. Instead, you must say, I choose not to purchase this at this moment, or I am prioritizing other investments. This shifts the dynamic from victimhood to authority. A victim cannot afford things. A master chooses where to direct his resources. The moment you reclaim your power of choice, you change your vibration. But faith in action goes beyond just your words. It demands a physical demonstration of your trust. I often tell my students to buy the best they can afford, even if it is a small thing. If you need a wallet, do not buy the cheapest tattered thing you can find, because you are afraid of running out of money. That cheap wallet is a constant reminder of your fear. Buy a good wallet. Buy a wallet that feels like wealth. By stretching your faith just a little, you prove to the subconscious mind that you trust the supply to replenish itself. Fear creates a vacuum of poverty. Faith creates a vacuum of prosperity. When you spend without fear, you open the way for more to come in. This is why hoarding is so dangerous. Hoarding is faith in disaster. It is saving for a rainy day, and because you are saving for a rainy day, the rain is guaranteed to come. You must live in the sunshine. Spend with wisdom, yes, but never spend with fear. Every dollar you release with a blessing is a soldier sent out to capture more and bring it back to you. Let us discuss the concept of the hunch. The infinite intelligence does not have a human voice. It speaks through intuition. It speaks through the hunch. When you are praying for prosperity, you must be on high alert for these nudges. A hunch is a sudden impulse to go somewhere or do something that may not seem logical to your intellect. Your intellect might say stay home and save gas. Your intuition might say go to that coffee shop across town. If you ignore the hunch, you miss the miracle. Perhaps the person you need to meet is at that coffee shop. Perhaps the idea that will make you a fortune is waiting in a conversation there. Faith in action means following these leads without hesitation. You cannot ask for guidance and then argue with the directions. The intuitive mind is the superconscious mind. It sees the destination and the shortcut. The reasoning mind only sees the obstacles. Stop overthinking and start moving. When you feel that spark of inspiration, act on it immediately. Delay is dangerous. Delay gives your fears time to argue you out of your blessing. There is a profound spiritual technology in the act of generosity. This is the ultimate faith in action. Many of you say, "I will give when I have more money." I tell you that you will never have more money until you begin to give. Giving is the initiation of the flow. You cannot receive with a clenched fist. When you give even a single dollar or a kind word or a helping hand, you are declaring to the universe, "I have plenty. I have enough to spare." This signal is irresistible to the law of plenty. It must return to you pressed down, shaken together, and running over. If you are in a financial crisis, the most powerful thing you can do is give something away. It sounds counterintuitive, but it breaks the paralysis of fear. It shocks your system into a new alignment. Tip the waitress a little more than usual. Buy a coffee for the person behind you. Do it secretly. Do not do it for applause. Do it to prove to yourself that you are a source of supply. You are not a swamp that takes and keeps. You are a river that flows. Now, we must address the difference between inspired action and frantic hustle. The world tells you to hustle. It tells you to grind. It tells you to lose sleep and work until you collapse. That is the way of the mortal mind, and it leads to the grave. That is not the way of the spirit. Faith in action is not frantic. It is poised. It is calm. It creates without strain. When you are acting from faith, you are efficient. You do the right thing at the right time. One phone call, made under the guidance of intuition, is worth 1,000 emails sent in desperation. When you are frantic, you are screaming to the universe that you do not trust it to help you. You are trying to force the door open. Faith stands back and unlocks the door. If you find yourself exhausted and anxious, you have slipped out of faith and into fear. Stop. Rest. Realign. Remind yourself that the battle is not yours, but the Lord's. Then when you move again, move with the certainty of a king or queen. A monarch does not run. A monarch moves with intention. You must also clean up your environment. This is faith in action. Look at your home. Is it ready for the prosperity you are asking for? If a wealthy guest were coming to stay, would you leave the piles of clutter and the broken furniture? No. You would clean. You would organize. You would make space. While the guest is coming, the guest is your own prosperity. Prepare for it. Clean out your closets. Give away what you do not use. Order is heaven's first law. You cannot have a disorderly mind and an orderly life, and you cannot have a disorderly home and a wealthy vibration. Clearing clutter is one of the fastest ways to shift energy. When you throw away the old, you make room for the new. It is a physical act that signifies a spiritual truth. You are saying, "I am finished with the old conditions. I am making space for the new demonstration." Do this today. Do not wait. The act of cleaning is a prayer in motion. Let us speak of the courage to stand still when necessary. Sometimes faith in action looks like standing still. There is a verse that says, "Stand ye still and see the salvation of the Lord." This does not mean laziness. It means holding your ground when appearances are against you. When the bill comes and you have no money, do not run around like a headless chicken telling everyone your troubles. Stand still. Keep your poise. Affirm your supply. Do the next logical thing that is in front of you. Wash the dishes. Walk the dog. Do your work. But do it with a heart that is standing still in the conviction of trust. This inner stability is a tremendous action. It is an anchor that holds the ship steady while the storm rages. Eventually, the storm passes, and because you held your ground, you are there to collect the treasure that washes up on the shore. You must also act the part of your future self. Use your imagination to rehearse your role. If you want to be a successful business owner, how does that person walk? How does that person talk? How does that person shake hands? Start doing that now. Do not wait for the title. The title follows the vibration. Dress for the life you want, not the life you have. This does not mean spending money you do not have on expensive clothes. It means pressing your shirt. It means polishing your shoes. It means carrying yourself with self-respect. When you respect yourself, the world respects you. When you value yourself, the world values you. You are teaching the world how to treat you by how you treat yourself. This is faith in action. It is the daily discipline of being the person you intend to become. Finally, remember that action clears the fog. Fear thrives in inaction. The longer you hesitate, the bigger the fear grows. The moment you take a step, even a small, imperfect step, the fear begins to dissolve. Action is the antidote to despair. Do not worry about making a mistake. The only mistake is standing still in fear. The rudder of a ship can only guide the ship if it is moving. If you are moving and you are going the wrong way, the infinite intelligence can steer you to the right way. But if you are not moving, you cannot be steered. So move. Do something today that scares you a little. Make that call. Send that proposal. Write that chapter. Buy that ticket. Show the universe that you are a player in this game, not just a spectator. The game of life is played on the field, not in the stands. Get on the field. The whistle has blown. The ball is in play. Run toward your goal with the absolute certainty that the ground will appear beneath your feet. This is the meaning of faith in action. It is living as if the promise is already fulfilled. It is joyous. It is expectant. It is brave. It is the behavior of a soul that knows its connection to the divine source. As we move to the final sections of this journey, keep this fire burning in your belly. You are not a beggar. You are a creator. And creators create through action. Now let us prepare to seal this truth with the prayer of command in the next chapter. We have now reached the sanctuary of the soul. We have scrubbed the floor with our actions, and we have opened the gates with our expectations, but now we must approach the altar. This is the moment where the transaction is sealed. This is the moment where the word becomes law. We are going to speak of prayer, but not the kind of prayer you have likely been taught. For centuries, humanity has approached the infinite intelligence like a beggar with a tin cup pleading for a coin. You have cried and begged and bargained. You have promised to be good if only God would pay your rent. You have treated the creator of the universe like a reluctant banker who must be convinced to give you a loan. This ends today. We are not here to beg. We are here to command. When I say command, I do not mean you command God. That is arrogance. I mean, you command the divine law to work for you, just as an engineer commands the law of electricity to light a city. The electricity does not need to be convinced to work. It simply needs to be channeled correctly. The prayer of command is that channel. It is the bold assertion of your spiritual rights. You are a prince or princess of the kingdom. A royal heir does not beg for dinner. The heir sits at the table and expects to be served. You must understand that the infinite intelligence offers no resistance to your demands. It is entirely fluid. It is waiting for your mold. When you pray with desperation, you are holding out a mold of doubt and saying, "Fill this." And the universe fills it with more reasons to be desperate. When you pray with authority, you are holding out a golden vessel and saying, "Fill this." And the universe rushes to fill it with liquid gold. The difference is not in the giver. The difference is in the receiver's posture. Prayer is not an attempt to change the mind of God. God's mind is already made up. It is always set to yes. Prayer is an attempt to align your mind with that eternal yes. It is a tuning of your own frequency. When you dial a radio station, you do not beg the tower to send the signal. The signal is already there. You simply turn the dial until the static disappears and the music is clear. The prayer of command is how you turn the dial. It cuts through the static of your fears and locks onto the frequency of your supply. Let us construct a scientific prayer. I call it scientific because it yields predictable results when applied correctly. It has three essential parts: the acknowledgement, the demand, and the release. First, you must acknowledge the source. You are not creating money. You are not forcing a person to give it to you. You are drawing from the one source. Then comes the demand. This must be specific, yet open. And finally, the release, which is the most crucial part. You must add the phrase under grace and in perfect ways. This is your safety clause. You might demand a large sum of money, but if you do not ask for it under grace, it might come to you through an insurance claim from an accident. You do not want that. You want the blessing without the sorrow. Under grace means it comes easily. It comes harmoniously. It harms no one and blesses everyone. In perfect ways means it comes through channels you might not even suspect. It leaves the how up to the divine wisdom. Now I want you to center yourself. Put aside your skepticism and your logic. Logic will try to argue with you. Logic will say, look at the bills. We are telling logic to sit in the corner and be quiet. We are speaking to the Spirit. I am going to give you specific prayers of command. Do not just listen to them. Let them echo in the chambers of your mind. Own them. Eat them. Digest them until they become your own flesh and blood. For those of you seeking financial freedom, here is your decree. Repeat this in your heart. Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. Let all that is mine by divine right reach me now in great avalanches of abundance. I give thanks that my financial needs are met on every level. I cast every burden on the Christ within, and I go free to be wealthy. Notice the power in those words. Avalanches of abundance. You are not asking for a trickle. You are asking for an overwhelming flow. You are claiming what is yours by right. You are not stealing from another. In the divine mind, there is no competition. What is yours, and no one else can have it. When you claim it, you are merely calling it home. For those of you trapped in debt, here is your command to dissolve the chains. I speak to my debts, and I declare that they are wiped out. The Spirit is my supply, and the Spirit is instant and endless. I am not afraid of this debt. I face it, and I see it dissolving like mist in the sun. I have a wonderful business in a wonderful way, and I give wonderful service for wonderful pay. My accounts are balanced by the hand of God. Debt is nothing but a thought of lack solidified. We dissolve the thought, and the debt must vanish. Do not look at the debt with hate. Look at it with superiority. You are greater than the paper it is written on. You are the alchemist. You have the power to turn the lead of debt into the gold of freedom, but you must speak to it with the voice of a master, not the whimper of a slave. For those of you who feel blocked, who feel that opportunity always passes you by, here is your key. I banish the past. I banish the belief in bad luck. There is no bad luck in the kingdom. There is only cause and effect. I now plant the seeds of success. I command the doors of opportunity to swing open. I command the right people to appear. I am linked by an invisible magnetic cord to my highest good. Nothing can separate me from my own. If a door shuts, it is because a palace gate is opening. I do not mourn the closed door. I turn my face to the open gate. This prayer realigns your focus. It stops you from staring at the wall and forces you to look for the window. The Spirit is always moving forward. When you hang on to past failures, you are trying to swim upstream. Let go. Flow with the command. There is a profound silence that follows a true prayer of command. It is the silence of the seed falling into the earth. Once you have spoken the word with full conviction, you must not dig it up with doubt. This is where many of you fail. You pray the prayer, and then 10 minutes later, you call a friend and say, I don't know what I'm going to do. You have just neutralized your prayer. You have canceled the order. You must maintain the spiritual stance. After the command comes the stand. Stand ye still and see the salvation of the Lord. That stillness is active. It is a vibrating stillness of certainty. It is the feeling you have after you have mailed a letter. You do not worry about the letter. You know the postal service will deliver it. You must have at least as much faith in the divine law as you do in the post office. The law is far more reliable. Some of you struggle with the feeling of worthiness. You think you are too small or too sinful to command the stars. Who are you to tell the mountain to move? But you are not speaking as your small ego self. You are speaking as the God self within. The ocean is in the drop of water. The power of the ocean is in you. When you speak the command, it is the divine speaking to the divine. It is deep calling unto deep. Therefore, there is no room for timidity. Timidity is a sin against your true nature. Humility is good, but true humility is knowing that the power flows through you, not from you. So be bold. Be daring. The universe loves a bold soul. It shrinks from the coward, but it rushes to embrace the one who dares to ask for the impossible. Let us address the concept of the time lag again within the context of prayer. You speak the word, and the visible world looks the same. The table is still wobbly. The carpet is still worn. The bank app still shows 0. The senses say nothing happened. The spirit says everything has happened. In the invisible realm, a massive shift has occurred. Bridges are being built. Checks are being signed. Circumstances are being rearranged. If you could see behind the curtain, you would be amazed at the activity your prayer has caused. But because you cannot see it, you are tempted to give up. Do not give up. This is the gestation period. A mother does not see the baby for 9 months, but she knows it is there. She prepares for it. She names it. She loves it before she sees it. You must mother your miracle. Nurture it with your faith. Do not abort it with your doubt. Your command has conceived a new reality. Let it grow. Let it arrive in its own perfect season. I want you to make this prayer of command a daily ritual. Not a rote repetition, but a daily rededication. Every morning, when you rise, stand before your mirror. Look into your own eyes. See the Spirit shining back at you. And speak your word. I am the daughter of the King. I am the son of the King. My supply is inexhaustible. Today I walk in the charm of the divine. Today I attract my own. Today I accept nothing less than complete success. Feel the energy rise in your spine. Feel the chemistry of your body changing. You are shaking off the lethargy of the victim. You are putting on the armor of light. This is not just psychological. It is biological, and it is spiritual. You are literally rewiring your brain to see opportunity instead of danger. You are tuning your reticular activating system to spot the gold in the dust. And finally, you must seal your prayer with gratitude. Gratitude is the bridge between the prayer and the manifestation. Gratitude is the highest form of faith because it acknowledges that the gift is already given. When you say thank you before you receive the money, you are proving your belief. You are signing the receipt before the delivery. Thank you, Father, that thou basest heard me, and I know that thou hearest me always. This was the prayer of Jesus before he performed miracles. He gave thanks first. So, end your command with a thunderous thank you. Thank you for the wealth that is mine. Thank you for the bills that are paid. Thank you for the freedom that is my birthright. The prayer of command is your sword and your shield. Do not leave your house without it. Do not face the world naked. Clothe yourself in the word. Assert your dominion. The world will try to tell you who you are. It will try to tell you that you are poor and weak and limited. You must shout back with your life. You must tell the world who you are. I am wealthy. I am strong. I am unlimited. I am under grace. And so it is. Now that we have sealed our command in the heavens, we prepare for the final invitation to walk this path forever in the closing chapter. We have traveled a great distance together in this short time. We have walked from the valley of the shadow of lack to the mountaintop of the divine design. You have heard the truth, and as the scripture promises, the truth has begun to make you free. But now you face the most dangerous moment of your journey. It is the moment when the video ends. It is the moment when silence returns and the noise of the world rushes back in to drown out the still small voice of your new consciousness. This is the final invitation. It is not just an invitation to subscribe to a channel or to leave a comment. It is an invitation to leave your old self behind forever. You are standing at a crossroads. One road leads back to the comfortable misery of your past, where you can complain about the economy and bond with your friends over how hard life is. The other road leads into the unknown territory of faith, where miracles are common and where struggle is obsolete. You cannot walk both roads. You cannot serve two masters. You must choose this day whom you will serve. Will you serve the master of fear, or will you serve the master of faith? I want you to understand that what we have discussed here is not a temporary fix. It is a reconstruction of your entire being. You are not patching up an old garment. You are weaving a new one. The danger is that the old neural pathways in your brain are deep and well-traveled. They are like old riverbeds. As soon as you stop consciously directing the flow of your thoughts, the water will try to rush back into the old riverbed of worry and doubt. This is why you must be vigilant. The first time a bill arrives and you feel that familiar knot of panic, you must stop. You must say no. That is the old reaction of the old me. The new me sees this bill as a receipt for a blessing already received and a promise of the supply to pay it. You must catch yourself in the act of falling. You must be the guardian of your own mind. No one else can do this for you. I can give you the map, but I cannot walk the path for you. You must take the step. Let us speak of the nature of miracles, because many of you still think a miracle is a violation of natural law. It is not. A miracle is simply the operation of a higher law that the physical senses cannot understand. When you use the law of plenty, you are not cheating. You are not breaking the rules. You are finally playing by the real rules. The world has taught you that gravity pulls everything down, but the law of lift allows an airplane to fly. The airplane does not break the law of gravity, it simply supersedes it with a higher law. The law of supply supersedes the law of lack. When you see money appear from nowhere, it is not magic. It is the spiritual law of lift in action. You have generated enough thrust through your faith and your words to overcome the gravity of your circumstances. Do not be afraid of the miracle. Expect it. Normalize it. Live in a state of constant readiness for the good to appear. When you live like this, you become a magnet. People will want to be near you because you vibrate with life. You become a light in a dark room. But what will you do when the darkness tries to return? Because it will try. Your old doubts will knock on the door, dressed in logical arguments. They will say, look at the news, look at the stock market, look at your debt. You must have your answer ready. You must treat these doubts like uninvited salesmen. Do not let them into the living room of your mind. Do not offer them tea. Slam the door. Tell them I am not interested. I have a new supplier. My supply comes from the infinite, and the infinite is never in a recession. This requires a stubbornness of spirit. You must be stubborn in your faith. The world calls it delusion, but the spirit calls it steadfastness. Be steadfast. Stand on the rock of your truth and let the waves of fear crash around you without getting you wet. This brings us to the importance of community and declaration. You cannot play this game entirely in secret. You need to anchor your commitment in the physical world. This is why I ask you to engage with this content. It is not for the algorithm. It is for your alignment. When you type the words, I accept unexpected prosperity, now you are performing a physical act that impresses the subconscious mind. You are taking the thought out of the ether and stamping it onto the material plane. It is a contract you are signing with yourself. Do not underestimate the power of this simple act. Writing it down makes it real. And when you subscribe, you are doing more than following a channel. You are saying to the universe, I want more of this frequency. I am tuning my radio to the station of abundance. I am surrounding myself with reminders of the truth. We become like the environment we stay in. If you stay in an environment of fear, you will be fearful. If you stay in this environment of faith, you will be faithful. Choose your environment wisely. I want to address the skeptics one last time because there is a little skeptic in all of us. The skeptic says, "This sounds too good to be true. If it were this easy, everyone would be rich." My darling, everyone could be rich, but most people would rather be right than be rich. They would rather cling to their stories of victimhood because those stories give them an identity. Giving up your suffering is actually very hard because you have identified with it for so long. You say, "I am a struggling artist," or "I am a hard-working single mother." You wear your struggle like a badge of honor. I am inviting you to drop the badge. You do not need to struggle to be noble. You do not need to be poor to be good. God does not need your poverty. God needs your expansion. A withered tree does not glorify the forest. A flourishing tree, full of fruit, glorifies the forest. Be the flourishing tree. Let go of the need to be the victim. It is a boring role in a bad movie. Walk off the set and write a new script. As you go forth from this video, carry with you the gentle expectation of good. Do not watch the pot to see if it boils. Just set the table. Smile at strangers. Be kind to yourself. If you stumble, if you have a moment of fear, do not beat yourself up. That is the old way. Simply acknowledge it, forgive yourself, and get back on the horse. The divine intelligence is not keeping a scorecard of your failures. It only cares about your direction. Keep facing the light. Keep moving toward the vision of your perfect life. Every time you shift your thought from lack to plenty, you are winning the game. Every time you choose silence instead of a complaint, you are winning the game. Every time you give thanks before the harvest, you are winning the game. And the prize of this game is not just money. The prize is a life of ease, a life of grace, a life where you wake up excited instead of exhausted. You are now a member of a silent brotherhood and sisterhood of souls who have discovered the secret door. You look like everyone else. You walk the same streets, but you are different. You carry a secret fire. You know that you are not a victim of circumstance. You know that you are a prince of the blood. Walk with that dignity. Keep your head high. Not in arrogance, but in the quiet confidence of one who knows their father is the king. When you walk into a room, bring the atmosphere of success with you. Bless the room. Bless the people in it. Bless the money in your pocket, and bless the money in other people's pockets. Be a flowing fountain, not a stagnant pond. The more you flow, the more will be given to you. This is the law of plenty. It is an eternal circle of giving and receiving, and you have just jumped into the stream. So here is my final charge to you. Do not let this just be a video you watched once. Let it be the turning point of your life. Let today be the day you look back on and say, that was the day everything changed. That was the day I stopped fighting life and started playing it. That was the day I woke up. I want you to go to the comments section right now and make your declaration. Do not write a novel. Just write the sentence of acceptance. Drive a stake into the ground. Say, I am ready. And then go out and live like you believe it. Look for the hunch. Listen for the guidance. Act on the inspiration. And watch the windows of heaven open and pour out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive. The game is yours to win. The cards have been dealt in your favor. The invisible host is cheering you on. You have the knowledge. You have the power. You have the right. Now go and demonstrate it. Peace be with you, and may your barns be filled with plenty, and your heart be filled with joy. We will meet again on this path of high adventure. Until then, keep the faith and keep the watch. Your good is here.